Happy day, and welcome to the Sheila C. Hill Show. And that C stands for come on in this room and have a sit down so we can chit chat just for a little while. Listen, the Sheila C. Hill Show is the ultimate go to podcast for ambitious individuals who want to get more fulfillment out of their life and more success and get valuable insights and expert tips and hear inspiring stories like you're going to hear today. And it's going to help you improve your lifestyle, grow your business, and get insightful wisdom that's going to help your mental health as well. So, in every episode, you're going to gain those practical tips in the company of a supportive community, whom I call Sheila's Thrive Tribe, baby, because we thriving over here. Okay. So if you want to join the tribe, you have to just subscribe and just meet us here weekly as we talk about some of this, that, and the other. But if you are new to the show, welcome. Hello, hola, bonjour, como está, ni hao, howdy, and what's going on, my people? Welcome to the show. I am so glad that you're here. Listen, call mama them, tell them the Sheila C. Hill show is on. Call Junebug and all of them. Because listen, we are here. We have a special guest today. But I always tell you all, I bring the best guests in the land. I'm so excited that she's here. All right, let me just tell you a little about her before I bring her onto the stage, baby. Because listen, we are talking with Sherise Hackney, the force behind the Sherise Effects. That doesn't it sound like we should just say it like that every time? The Sherise Effect. Helen from the beautiful state of North Carolina. That's where I am. North Kakalaki, as we call it. Sherise embodies resilience and triumph in the face of adversity. Her journey is not just about overcoming obstacles, it's also about transforming tragedy into triumph and inspiring others to do the same thing. From conquering the foster care system to overcoming childhood trauma, Sharice's story is one of encouragement, courage, strength, and determination. Now, she is an author, entrepreneur, and an advocate. Sherise is making waves with her empowering messages and impactful voice. So at this time, welcome to the stage, Miss Sherise Hackney. Come on to the stage.
Hello. Love it.
Woo!
Thank you.
Welcome. I'm so glad to have you here on today. Listen, just to read a little about you it speaks volumes to your resilience. It speaks volumes to what you're made of. So I want them to hear it from your mouth. Just tell us who are you? Who is Sharice?
Well,
Who is Sharice?
so Sherise is sunrise, she rise. I rise, you rise, we rise together. So that's all in a nutshell. I am someone that definitely had to face life's obstacles, of course, at an early age where, I couldn't necessarily change the outcomes or decisions or some of the things that was just part of me in my life. And I knew that I was going to have to dig deeper and work harder than the average person. So that's what I did. I had some self things that I did to try to keep myself grounded and also be the example, find the research to the example of what I wanted to be when I got older. Now it's easier said than done, right? So reading books and watching movies and listening to interviews and looking at role models like Oprah and them, I'm like, okay, they make it look really, really easy.
Right.
Unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. So had to go through some trial and error. Many just things from horrible relationships to loss of my mother and evictions and, family, just all of those things. And I overcame. With the grace of God, God still carried me through those moments. And I never lost hope, never lost my faith. And that's what led me into the Sherise Effect. And that's actually a vision that he bestowed upon me. So we're here. We're
All
here.
right. I love it. Yes. I love God visions, honey. You can't lose when you walk in your purpose. Okay.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
realize that everything that you went through for a reason, and you're reaching back, you're putting that elevator, sending it back down to help people. That is
Yes.
amazing. And kudos to you for that.
Thank
I
you.
know it's just a lot to go through, and when you look back, but what was one defining moment that you can look back to say, this is what made me? This is, I know we have God and he's put us in those positions, but what is that defining moment that says, yeah, this is the day that I realized I'm not going to be the same?
Yes, that defining moment actually happened when I was homeless and I
Okay.
was sleeping in my car, and having to still wear that face where it's just like I had a job, but I was fleeing a relationship and I just left everything behind. And of course, going from having a lot of things that we worked hard over the years to having, and then making the choice to say, you know what, peace is so much greater. I don't know what the future holds in front of me, but it's okay because I choose self love and peace over that treacherous situation. I mean, that was just horrible. So, me being in my car and realizing that, on the outside looking in, that would be rock bottom. Like, you're homeless, you have nowhere to go. I'm in abandoned parking lots, waking up to people knocking on the window, thinking I'm trying to make sure I'm alive because I'm laid stretched across the back seat or whatever it took for me to get rest so I could still put on my game face the next day like I wasn't homeless and smile through it all. That was just something that really transcended me into humbleness, but also in a situation where it's like, you know what? I don't ever want to go back here. And then being there, I had no one but God to kind of lean on. So that also kind of started that process of no longer being blind, deaf, or numb. And what I mean by that is once I finally was obedient to God and releasing those strongholds and removing like any distractions, then I could hear God's voice speak to me. I could see not just what was in front of me, where
Hmm.
it's like the forest for the trees, I could see the unseen. And then being numb in the sense of, okay, I felt the presence of the Holy Spirit. So that's what really kind of woke me up. Like, you're a woman, you have two children, you had to make the ultimate sacrifice when it came to them. What are you doing? Who are you? And what is your becoming going to look like?
Wow. I love it. I love it. Now
Yeah.
you mentioned remove distractions. Come on, let
Yes.
me get my clapper. Baby, let me
Woo!
told you.
Important. Very
Come on.
important.
Removing the distractions. And sometimes we don't realize that when God takes people out of your life, because there was a distraction, they wasn't a part of the process of the
Yes.
new person that you're becoming, but we take it personal. We get all in our feelings. So
Yes.
that was, honey, whew, that's a whole episode right there.
Yes. Yes, and it's hard, but you know what? The other side of it is just so phenomenal. So that little
Yeah.
temporary feeling of having to, the world side of things with our feelings and our emotions, trust believe, being able to live through it and do it, it's like, oh, what was I thinking? I'm glad I chose the right team instead of the
Exactly.
temporary fix.
Woo! Baby,
Yes,
let me tell you, that is something that it is hard, but it's worth it because the reward on the other side is so much better. I mean,
it is.
it's so much better. All right, let's talk about you're an author. She
Yes.
said yes to herself unapologetically. Empower her,
Uh-huh.
empowerment guide.
Hmm.
Ooh, come on. That's a mouthful. So let's talk about it.
All right. Well,
How did you come about that?
I'm a co-author, so it's an
Okay.
anthology. And for those who don't know what an anthology is, it's kind of like a support of authors coming together for a purpose, and that purpose was to tell our stories and also kind of present what we're about, who we are, what we do, and things like that. So for that, it's kind of funny that that was just kind of right there as an opportunity, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, this seems great because God told me go and don't hide. And that was the don't
Mm,
hide part was very important. So that was the stop, the first stop that led me on this journey. I wasn't even aware that he was preparing me for a journey. So I stopped there and I'm like, whoa, these women, some of the other co authors, they're so amazing. They're seasoned. They've been doing what they do for years. And I realized I'm like, whoa, I'm new to this. And then he said, exactly, you're in your season of the new. And that's actually what my chapter is entitled in the empowerment guide, Empower Her Guide. Um, the season of the new from tragedy, sorry, into okay, um, tragedy into triumph. So, yes, that was just so challenging, but empowering and inspiring, not just for the purpose for what we were trying to do with the project for women, but for myself, because that was actually the first time that I just kind of laid some things out to the world, and
okay.
in my obedience to God, where he says don't hide, and I wasn't prepared for that. I didn't know he was going to have me stopping there on this journey. He's the GPS. That's the first stop. Oh, you really want me to tell these things? Like, this is my protection. This is what I don't want people to know. I've been through some things, but it's okay to share your story and tell your story. So I'm glad that I was a part of that project to be able to do so.
That is awesome. For the right time, the right season. Listen, sometimes you have to really be transparent to reach people and reach your target audience as well. Okay, so
Yes.
then, so you did that with the anthology. So you have an upcoming children's book. Help me,
Yes.
mom, dad. So tell me about it. When is that coming out? When is that released? Let's talk about that.
So the first book, which is the Friends book, that's one of 8. It's
Okay.
released. It's available now on Amazon and will be on other platforms, including Barnes and Nobles and Google Books, things like that. But
Okay.
yes, that is my little baby. That's my project. That was a vision from, I think at the time I started working on it, it was a year old. And so, what I had realized along my journey, when you remember we were discussing being deaf, and then I could hear, I just wrote it down. I didn't know what it was going to be utilized for. I just made sure that I documented it. And he took me right back to the exact location around the exact time and specifically instructed me to go back in that particular note. And so I said, okay, you said go. I'm going. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know where to start. Never did this before, but it just came, he just ordered those steps. And before I know it, I had 8 covers. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. I have to write. Like, the getting and the going got good. So, yes, that is available now, ebook as well as the
Oh my
paperback
goodness.
version. And the Pets book is next for release. Might have this. I don't know.
Pet.
See, this
Okay, wait a
is
minute. Before
this
we go to
is
the
what
pets
this
book.
life does. We rebuke that.
Oh my goodness.
It's a
Okay, so let's talk
brand
about
new
the
light
children's.
bulb. Okay.
That's wow. So let's talk about the children's book. So with this series, what can parents and children expect out of this series of books?
So what they can expect is that's a guide for children, an aid for parents to bridge the gap in communication.
Okay.
It's just hard for children to kind of not only be able to communicate with their parent or caregiver, to be able to identify some things of how they should be, what they feel like, and then when it doesn't feel like how it's supposed to feel, which is the joyous side of it, the things to do about it. So this book series kind of, ultimately guides the children into being able to do all of that, in addition to, bridging that gap and building stronger families when it comes to children being able to communicate about these topics.
Oh, that is so
Yeah.
important. Listen, communication, because we have so many electronics now, to
Yes.
communicate is so hard. Kids don't have those skills
Yes.
like we used to. So that's awesome to have those books. Now you said a books about pets?
Yes, the pets book is next.
What is Tell me about that.
So
What?
it's gonna also kind of, I wanted to kind of do the first eight for some common kind of real life topics for, the child's social and emotional development and things
Okay.
that they kind of would face. And so pets is one of them. So it's gonna teach them about the different, there are people that they have feelings too,
Yeah.
about how to be kind to pets and the care, and also
Hmm.
parents assisting them with the issues that they can't, necessarily handle. So I'm excited. It's still a work in progress, but I'm almost done. That's the beauty.
That's
Yes.
awesome. Kudos to you.
Thank
I
you.
love how you have the variety and you can think what they want, what they need to. Oh my goodness. Awesome. Okay, I cannot wait to finish this conversation. But first, we must stop and take a commercial break. We'll be right back just shortly. Put you behind stage. Oh my goodness, it's so wonderful. All right, we're going to go with our
Are you feeling
commercials.
overwhelmed with projects to build your business? Search no more. Introducing Borrow My VA, a virtual assistant service, your one-stop solution to bid farewell to stress and manage multiple tasks with very little effort. We specialize in website building, funnel creation, automations, and email marketing all under one roof. And here's the best part. We provide all these incredible services at budget-friendly rates. Discover a hassle-free way to handle your projects. No more worries about onboarding or finding that perfect virtual assistant. Our team is all set to tackle your task with efficiency. Now, once you delegate the task, consider it done. Say goodbye to overwhelm. Don't miss this fantastic opportunity to elevate your business. Join our list of satisfied customers and book a free consultation today at borrowmyva.com. That's borrowmyva.com.
Thank you to borrowmyva.com for sponsoring this episode. And listen, if you want to sponsor an episode and get your business out there, listen, the Sheila C. Hill Show is in 14 countries. Talk about visibility. You can go into the SheilaCHillShow.com and advertise with us or be a sponsor for one of our episodes. Okay, so we're going to get back to the conversation where we're talking to Miss Sherise Hackney. And listen, she has children's books. She has so much to offer along with um, just empowerment. Just her story by itself is empowering. But now we're getting ready to tap into some her foundation. We're going to learn more. So we're going to bring her back to the stage. Welcome back to the stage, Miss Lady.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we talked about a book, and we're going to have all of your clickable links to your books, your Amazon links. We'll have them there in the show notes. So for anyone who wants to go ahead and grab those, do that, and then be on the lookout for her next series of books about the pets, which they're teaching children as well, and communication and how to deal and cope with life as well. All right, so let's talk about okay, we talked about your literary endeavors. You're also the founder of Solid Ground Higher Foundations, which is a
Yeah.
nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting children in need. What inspired you to establish that? And what initiatives are you currently undertaking to fulfill your mission?
great questions. And I'm so glad we can discuss this because it's almost like
Yes.
this is going to be exclusive. So one Christmas, I was just in the giving spirit. I was just like, wow, I need to do something. I feel jolly, right? 'Tis the season. So I said, let me just find out which families need a little extra assistance with their kids' Christmas. And it just did something so amazing. Not that I wasn't a, giving person previous or prior to, it was just the fact that I went in those stores, and for those age ranges that I had, my children, I'm a mother of two, that was done for me. That was over. So just diving back into those age groups and being excited. And I'm like, I'm not getting anyone anything that one, I wouldn't stand behind or I wouldn't want, or two, that I wouldn't, purchase for my own children. So it just ended up being a compulsive thing just because it was just felt so great kind of being in the midst of the festivities and trying to grab the last one and like, I got it, this kid is going to love it. And the face in delivering, because I mean, I went all out. I wrapped them for the families and put them in a box. And I just remember that one of the children's grandmother. The mother couldn't meet me, so she said, "Hey, go over to my mother's house." I was like, "No problem." And the look on her face, and she said, "Thank you so much." So what ended up happening was the very next day, by the end of that day, I found out that the grandmother had passed away. So I said, "Oh my goodness," it just touched my heart. I said, you know, those children are not going to wake up with their grandmother, unfortunately, and that's already hard, but at least they wake up with something.
Mm.
So with that, I could never forget that. That was like, just on my heart. And I said, I want to be able to do that every year. I said, how do I start? How do I get there? And then once again, one of those, God bestowing upon me a vision for me to breathe life into. He said, do a nonprofit. And I'm like, I never did that. I don't know the ins and outs of it. But I'm like, okay, I don't even know what I would name it. And then boom, he went on and provided solid ground, higher foundations. And what that is just, it stems from the verse in the Bible of where a foolish man builds on sand, and a wise man builds on, it doesn't say solid ground, but pretty much solid ground.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's what, okay, I get it. That's what the vision is for kids and families. So the exclusive is the first thing that we're rolling out because I was still unraveling it. I still have been just sitting on it a little bit because I wanted to be able to announce and rock and roll. So here it is. We are doing a children's Arthur initiative where it can be done virtually. The name of that particular book series would be 4 plus 4 equals great. Not 8, great.
Okay. Okay.
It's a taller book series that children will either get to, well, they're going to be authors. So co-authors in this series write the book. A few of them will be special editions where children will illustrate the book. But just because it's set up virtual and I'm projecting that many kids and their families are going to want to take advantage of phase 1 of this opportunity, which is pushing the books out and having children write these for children to empower them and things like that. That is what is on the agenda as the first thing that Solid, I nicknamed it Solid, that Solid is pushing out. So I'm highly excited about that.
That is amazing. Oh my goodness. Your commitment to empowering children and families, like that is truly commendable. And I heard you say that God told you to do a nonprofit. You never had done it before. He's getting you to do a lot of never befores, right?
Yes, I'm telling you all. And I mean, that's the beauty and the power of God when you don't know when he's going to knock on your door. You don't know when he's going to choose you. And the thing about it, I'm not inventing the will. I'm not reinventing the will. People have
Right.
came prior to me, they'll come during me, and they'll come after me. The difference is the fact that these are things that I never could imagine 2 years ago or 5 years ago, that not only is he providing the vision, he's given me the instructional guide of the next steps. So this is just so amazing, where people are like, you're not overwhelmed, like, you're not tired, are you scared to go to sleep because you're still up? And it's like, no, the joy and just execution, that is my victory. Being obedient
Yes.
and executing these visions from God. And I will do that and go anywhere he'll have me to go from that. So he's
That's
doing
awesome.
these things for me, and your season is right there. Your season is right there. Just open the door, answer the call. Regardless of where you're at, it's never too late, as long as he blesses you every day to wake up. And every day is just an exciting, blessed day, because he's coming with something, a next step, like connecting the dots.
Yes. Yes, I love it. So with this, and I know a lot of people say, well, God, I don't know how to do this. And they use that as an excuse. But when you know how to do something, that means you're depending on your own strength. But when you
Mm,
don't know, that means you don't have no choice but to depend on God.
yes,
No
he
choice at
will
all.
break it all the way down. You know,
Yes, yes, I love
yes.
that. And then also when you walk in your purpose, it's not like work. And people
No,
see it as like, oh, it's like work and you never get no sleep. No, I am walking in my purpose. So it's my passion and doesn't feel like it's not like I'm so tired of this or whatever. No, I'm walking in my purpose. And I have peace. A lot of people don't reach that because they're so in their head and trying to figure it out for themselves and make things
amen.
work instead of just relaxing. Let God handle it and you listen and just follow the directions.
Yes, that is
Just
the
as
secret
simple.
formula right there. Secret
Woo!
formula.
I love, love, love it. Okay. You are just involved, you're advocate, community engagement. What advice would you give to anyone who wants to make a positive impact in their communities, especially concerning children's welfare? What advice would you give them?
Turn your pain into advocacy and just do it. It doesn't have to be on a grand scheme of things. You don't have to have a lot of, for lack of a better way to say it, clout behind you. It just starts with one person. If you could just run into a family or a child or, whatever, and you're being genuine, wholehearted, and you were able to give and provide something in that moment, that's the beginning. And then God will continue to allow people to cross your path, where that gets bigger and grander and bigger and grander, to you stepping on that stage and being able to, reach the masses. But every little step forward is a step that counts, because it's still forward motion. So just start where you're at. And that was the hardest thing for me, because I'm an extra. Like, when I say I'm extra, I'm like, no, I don't want to crawl. I don't want to walk. I'm sprinting, not even running. I'm sprinting. But I had to humble myself accordingly, and also realize, be transparent with myself. Like,
Yeah.
anytime that I just took off, it didn't work. So, I am living in purpose, and I have to be very peculiar. And like Miss Hill said, wait on the Lord. He will make a way and provide the things that are seen and unseen, and the things that you know or that you don't know that you know, then guess what? God has your back. He will carry you through that. So just do it, and just start small, and everything else will fall into place.
I love it. That is so true. You have to make one step first. And
Yes.
that's a lot of times that's stepping outside of your mindset because I think, not I think I know your mindset can carry you or it can stall you. So
Yes.
when you have that mindset of growth, it's going to push past what you don't know. It's going to push past what mom and them think about you and what has been said about you as you
Woo!
growing up as a child. It's going to push past, and then you're going to focus on what God calls you to be, who God calls you to be.
Yes.
Because listen, so many people know what the bottom look like. Ain't you tired of being at the bottom? Let's
Right.
change that mindset and let's get to the top, because you can. No matter what a person is going through, they can get to the top and they can get past it. Listen,
Miss Lemon.
don't have us up in here preaching or
Yes,
down.
you go ahead because now look, I feel it now because I'm like, I'm glad you said that. Because matter of fact, you know what? I've been on the other end of that where it's like, oh, you're not going to be this, you're not going to do that, blah, blah, blah. And those are strongholds. Those are, you might as well call it the enemy because the enemy's job is to still kill and destroy. So that is not someone that's 100% for you, that can't speak life and manifest positive and praise you in your moment. So, yes, I also had to kind of surpass that mindset and that mentality of the brainwashing that I had started when I was a little girl, to be like, oh, you're going to be a welfare recipient. You're not going to be anything. You're not going to amount to anything. Like, I'm a kid. What if I wanted to be a lawyer? Can you help me with that? And there goes the light. So I'm like, can you assist me with believing in myself with that? No, it was beating the odds, overcoming those obstacles, and being what people said that I wouldn't be, because I didn't
Mm,
have people speaking on what I would be or could become. So it don't matter. Step out on faith, put those works in, and God will carry you. He has your back. The winning team, perfect formula.
I love it. I love it. And with you and God together, you are the majority. Because you
Yes.
don't need all these extra people riding on your tail
Yep.
wagon. You know what I'm saying?
Them
So
weak.
that is the majority. I love, oh my goodness. Okay, okay. So where do you see the Sherise effect? Where do you envision that? Where you're going, how it's going to impact for years to come? Like, what do you envision? What do you have like for the future?
Well, one thing what I did kind of notice and put in, the revelation is most of everything that God is like putting in front of me for me to execute and breathe life into, it's about ultimately helping someone. And the thing about it is everyone has the Sherise effect within them. And a better way to put it is turning a lemon into a lemonade. A lemonade business, not just the stand, it's like the empire of lemonade. Turkey Hill or Simply Lemonade, like the top notch of it. So
I love it.
so I do see that, kind of starting a movement of where people are motivated, uplifted, inspired, um, for changing the status quo or the world's conformity. More people are going to be willing to kind of go out and live in their purpose and execute their missions. And that's just for the people in whole, because I always keep that in mind, that it's not just me. It's not just about me and my story and my journey. It's about others, and just me as being the stepping stone for, it's like, oh yeah, you're next. You see this, it's my time, but your time is coming, or your time is here. So ultimately that's what I do see as far as the vision for everyone. But as far as Sherise Effect solely, um it's still been written. I don't know what the final destination is for the Sherise Effect. I just know that it gets better and better and greater, and I'm just implanted in it. So that is my victory, just been able to execute these things and been obedient. Everything else is a bonus. So I'm here today with you, and that is a blessing, because look at how I met you. First thing, you were the first face that I saw at the photo shoot. 100 professional Black women in
Yeah.
Black, and just so many things and opportunities are coming that I'm like, okay, I may see them, and I may, say hi, but there's other sides of that where it's like, whoa, like, okay, Lord, I didn't know you stopped me at the Empower Her guide, and that equated to international best-selling author. And oh Lord, I didn't know that you were going to say, okay, go ahead back to that children's book idea that I gave you, and now you can apply that and add that to it. Like, so I don't know, I'm just here for it.
I'm so glad that you took the call and you said yes,
Yeah.
because a lot of people get the unction in their spirit to do things, but they talk themselves out of it. They make excuses. I don't know how to do it, or I don't have any help, and no one in my family supports
Yeah.
me, and woe is me, woe is me. And it's like, first of all, it's not about you. If God put something in your spirit, you walk it out regardless. I don't
Yeah.
even care if you got a blindfold on. At the end of the day, the path has already been set. He just wants you to be willing. So I'm so glad, and blessings to you for being willing to take this journey, you know? So it's
Yeah.
the doors are going to be open, the windows are going to be open, and it's just going to be flow. So get ready for it. Like,
Yeah.
get
And
ready.
if I may add, ready and willing, because sometimes we have to, address those traumas. Mental awareness is a factor, because I can't just sit and say that the journey was perfect, because that first stop, I'm like, you know what? I don't belong here. I don't have anything going on. Everyone else has these awesome and amazing things. I'm just new. It's just fell upon me. And why am I here? Why? But then it's like, nope, you're here for a purpose. Be obedient. Like, no, I'm not. Like, what am I supposed to put? When God said make a website prior to any of this, I didn't know He was preparing me for a journey. So I called a good friend of mine. I said, he said make a website, and I don't know what I'm supposed to put on it. I was panicking, like, I want to be obedient, I want to do it, but what am I supposed to put on it? Not knowing that in the future there was going to be more than enough to place on that website. So, it was all about also, like, just one, not lean into my own understanding, but finally healing and letting all of those strongholds and childhood traumas that was a part of my life, that was still haunting me, that was still being my distraction, away from being able to be in position to have peace and be still for God to use me. And so once I was like ready to let that go, and I went through some therapy, and then, my father had passed away. So that was the last piece of the puzzle. And this was last year. So this journey, as far as the movement of the Sherise Effect, started last July 2023. So it hasn't even been a year. And then it's just like, whoa, there's so much to it. There's so many different facades and elements of the Sherise Effect. There's a music side as well. We hadn't discussed that, but there's Queen Penance. So all of these things, and I'm like, this happened within a matter of, less than 12 months, and look at how God is moving. He will do it. But I had to finally sit there and just finally be willing and ready to be like, okay, Lord, you know what? Life has been this way. And I know you want me to be prosperous, want us to be prosperous.
Mhm.
And I've been thinking about all of this old stuff, making excuses, letting it, stop me from things that, prior to that moment. I
Yeah.
released it to Him. I prayed. And then next thing I know, I blinked and it's 2024 and we're here on the Sheila C. Hill show.
Hey.
Who's
Yes,
who's
honey.
the next guest?
Yes, baby. I love it. I love it. And you know what? Your gift would make room for you. And a lot
Yeah.
of people don't understand that if you use that one gift and you
Mhm.
use it to the best and with the spirit of excellence, you're going to get more gifts. It's like, oh, I didn't know I could do this. I didn't know I can do this. But it's going to make room for you and open up so many different opportunities. But people don't understand that because they overthink it and they don't commit to the process. And yes, it is hard. But and then you look at people and they be like, then they be feeling some kind of way, honey. They be like jealous of your gifts. And it's like, baby, do you know what I went through to get this gift? Do you
Exactly.
understand? They see your glory, but they don't know the story that you went
Glory.
through it.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now. So
You
it's
better
just like
speak
you
it.
have to guard yourself and not have people around you that are haters, the syndrome that want to pull you down. That's why you have to have that spirit of discernment to say, okay, my season is over for this friendship or for this business, this partnership. It's over because I have a higher calling and I'm not going to let those distractions block me anymore. Right.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
listen, and speaking of divorce, yes. So you was talking about the queen pinning.
Oh,
What?
it's like, what is that?
What?
Okay.
Let's talk about that. It's
You
not
know,
from the
I
rap.
wrote
You rap
it.
too.
I mean, listen, you all. I'm sorry. Y'all saw my face when, she asked me the question about Queen Pennon. Don't get me wrong. I do love me some Queen Pennon. She is that's still a part of the brand. But the reason why I reacted like that is because, listen, Queen Pennon was not a part of the plan. Once again, Queen Pennon, that name was actually going to be utilized for content like social media marketing
Okay.
for businesses and things like that. That was just going to be kind of my little identification purposes for that. And whenever I was going through my grieving process from losing my dad, I mean, I was all the way down. I had anger. I don't remember any other ones. It's almost like I didn't have anger when my mom passed away. I had every other stage. And then it was like the enemy was like, okay, we're going to make sure you don't miss this one for sure. And I was just so angry. Prayers saved my life because I mean, wicked anger. I was thinking wicked, like, oh, I need to go do this. Like, let's throw it all away. And when I was praying, I knew that I only had God. And I said, what else can I do, Lord? He said, write. I said, write. Now I like to write, but I mean, up until that point, I hadn't wrote any books. I did some term papers and stuff for college and stuff like that, but I wasn't in school anymore. I wasn't trying to write more than, yes, I do like it, but not on my time. When I had to, I had no choice but to. So it's like, right. I said, okay. Said, all right. Said, okay. So I wrote my first thing and it was a rap. And mind you, no experience. And I'm like sitting writing rhymes. It's bad when you gotta kind of start it off as what you're doing because it's like you don't know where else to start or how else to start it. So I'm like, I'm sitting writing rhymes like I'm running out of time. Yes. So I'm like, yeah, like, so next thing I know, I got this notion. It's like, well, nobody's going to want to read your stuff. You get kind of long with it, with your writing anyway, when you have. And I'm like, so I'm supposed to speak this? I'm like, okay. So I'm trying. I probably had 20 takes of trying to speak it, speak it, speak it. So I finally say, you know what? It still wasn't perfect. So I said, I'm just putting it out there. I said, because, that's the win. I did it. I could cross it off the list. Now, little did I know, it wasn't going to be able to stop. So it went from, kind of being more therapeutic and just being obedient to like, hey, speaking that to, oh, every time I'm sitting down, here's me with my notepad, like my notes on my phone, and I hear something in my head and it just keeps going and going and going, and I write it down and I record it. So I'm like, okay. And then here it is again. So yes, Queen Pennon is always in there. There's always stuff done. So that's why I roll my eyes because I'm like, yeah, like, trust me, Queen Pennon knocks at my door all the time when I'm trying to work on the children's book and I'm supposed to be sitting down writing that or, doing a couple pages. And here comes Queen Pennon like, hey, you need to record this. And I'm like, why? But we laugh, but the serious part of it is when I was kind of aware that God was trying to do something with that is, mind you, none of Queen Penance thing is perfect. And he said, yeah, that's the part of the gimmick. Like, you're going to hear mistakes, you're going to hear errors, you're going to hear mispronunciations, because it's about bringing everyone with you. And I'm like, okay, with me, you mean, you know, so, I need to buy a big house on the hills, and there's 1,000 rooms in there, and I'm like, hey, everybody, come on. Like, I didn't know what that really meant. Mind you, I'm still in the season of the new, so things are slowly been revealed and unraveled. So when he said with you, you're bringing people with you, it went from more of therapeution to bringing God back into the world through a combination of rap, poetry, and spoken word. I posted a blooper, and it was just all messed up. And a man came under there, and he commented. He said, I've been rapping for all the wrong reasons. He said, I need to get rebaptized. So I'm like, that's when I knew, like, okay, Lord, I'm glad I was obedient. Even though I didn't see it, like I said, like sometimes things could just seem so small to you, but God has a greater purpose that you just got to do your part with it, and watering that to bloom and blossom into something greater for his will. So when that happened, that's when I said, so the whole time I'm just thinking, I'm just writing this, it's therapeutic, and you said speak it, and I'm speaking it, and it's not even perfect. People are going to laugh and be like, girl, stop. What are you doing? Like, I don't even know. Pick a side. Are you rap? Or are you poetry? Or are you spoken word? But then it just kind of turned into that, which turned into something else. So that will be, if you follow me, you will see what the next step of what Queen Pennon, what the root, what the original purpose for Queen Pennon was to get to the next step. So that'll be coming.
Oh, the suspense. I love it. I love it. The suspense. I love it. So everyone has to follow you. So, okay, so let's get to that. All right. Everything is in the show notes, but how can people reach out to you?
So just search at the Sherise Effect on most platforms like TikTok, Instagram. On Facebook, it's actually Hackney Sherise. Eventually I'll probably make pages or try to revamp that, but that is personal plus everything. There we are again. It is personal and everything. So you can kind of tap into a little bit of my personality through the Facebook page. But once again, that's Hackney Sherise. And then everything else can be found under the Sherise Effect. So type that in on those other platforms.
And
except
Sherise
Twitter.
Is spelled Sheris for those. Sherise Effect, EFFECT. Okay, so what is your inspiration before we close today? What's some inspiration that you want to leave the audience with?
What would I like to say?
And while you think about that, is there anything that you have to offer them other than them buying your books? Is there something else that you want to tap into that you may have to offer them? You have a journal on your website?
Do. I have the inspirational journals on the Amazon kind of author page. There's more designs coming out. The favorite is the prayer takes you places where you're fill in the blank can't. Have you prayed? I prayed today. Have you? So it's kind of like a reminder / a helper. If someone else sees, like, let me read what that says. And then it kind of reminds you, like, yeah, pray. So I reach out to me, follow me. This is the treat because I just love my people. I love the people. And it is, a season, a month for us, hopefully, and everyone, us and everyone, Today is Valentine's Day. It's about love. So love for or us all. So reach out to me today. I'll send you a code where you can get either a journal or if you have children, get one of the ebooks for free. So that's on me. Happy
Ooh.
Day. I love everyone. Thank you for just, not shut me down, but kind of allowing me to fulfill and present these things to you. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. And you can reach out to her in the everything is in the show notes. You can check that out. And as what is something that you want to leave the audience with? Inspiration or a message or anything?
Um well, I was like,
I put you on the spot.
I know. I was like, why does this make me so nervous? But okay, so we discussed Queen Pennon, right? So I think it's only fair to leave you all with a little of something. Since we did kind of talk about a little bit about me and my story, and if you don't mind, Miss Hill, that I would like to kind of speak, not necessarily perform, but speak one of my writings, I guess. I don't call it, songs. It's just a piece. One of
Let's
my
go. Let's
pieces.
do it. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So this is called Story. I was a foster kid. Yeah. Do you know what that means? My parents wasn't capable of raising me, so I jumped from homes in between. Didn't understand it. I knew who my family was, so I couldn't stand it. I was a ward of the state, but I was finally in transit. I moved into a home with familiar faces, visited new places, but I was still a parentless child. The pain never erases. I was set up on a path to hope. I had my own room, own clothes. Receiving things I wanted was dope, but my life was still a joke and I still couldn't cope. I never understood how I could be so close on a tight rope, but still fell victim tumbling a downslope. I've required extra love and attention. So I set out on my missions, but I found myself right back 100% retention. Was I doing the same things, expecting different results as my end game? The definition is clear. As it appears, I'm still here. My relationship with God allowed me to persevere. Nevertheless, I rised up, but I still experienced life stress from changing address, granting the wrong folks access, but it was my story that I will always suppress. But turmoil had to get it too. Suppress. Success is what undoes. Turning your pain into profit is what you should choose. For everyone, be my witness. Sharing your story is mental fitness. Don't worry about who gets mad. Don't feel bad. Those people don't know what you had to go through to deal with, the traumas that stick, the choices that hit or miss. Your story is God's grand rising. Put some praise on it and thank the Lord.
That
Sorry,
was
I translated
awesome.
it so I could say it right.
That was awesome. So do you have that like on TikTok or anywhere?
I have it on Facebook and it has music behind it. So it's more like a jam. You'd be like, oh, but
Oh
yeah,
yeah, you
you
need to
all
put
got
that
to
out
hear
on
the
more
words.
on YouTube, on TikTok, on different platforms.
Well,
We'll
I
talk
do
about
have
it. Oh my goodness.
Queen
Yes.
Pennon is out on Apple Music, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, iHeartRadio. It's just only 2 pieces there, but eventually more things will be available to
That's
stream.
awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Way to go. Thank you for coming. I really enjoyed the conversation, getting to know you as well, and just seeing the different dynamics that you have. There's so many different stages that you have, and it's all of them are awesome, honey. I enjoy
Thank
it. I'm gonna put
you.
you backstage and I'm gonna close out. Listen, today is an awesome day, and I'm so glad that she was here. I told you all we have awesome guests here on the Sheila C. Hill Show. If you have not done it yet, please subscribe to the show. Listen, so you can stay connected. Uh if you can take anything resonated with you today, please take it and be a doer, not just a talker. Okay. Do what you need supposed to be doing. Execute. Do you know how many people have dreams, but they never execute it because of fear? Fear is the opposite of faith. So understand that you are destined for greatness, right? You are destined for greatness, but it's going to take you to change your mindset to move to the next level. I have faith that you will do it. And if no one has told you today that you are loved and highly appreciated, I'm telling you that now. You are loved and your life is worth living. You are needed here. Your voice is needed for the next generation. So thank you for tapping into the Sheila C. Hill Show. Until next time, it's time to go, baby. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go. Until next time on the Sheila C. Hill Show. Bullshit, love, peace, air grease.